7. That's 160 people joining that meetup every year. So that's 160 people that obviously think that there's something about us that maybe they're interested in. So we get that one useful piece of information is new people joining that meetup. The other piece of useful information is who's visited the meetup that week. And the other thing is that if they like a meeting, they will RSVP and say that they're going to come to that meeting. Now, our experience of people that say they're going to come to the meeting and come is probably about a third. So if we get sort of 12 members RSVP for a particular meeting, we're likely to get a third of those maybe turn up to the actual meeting, maybe less. Then it's our job then to convert those into members. So, you know, that's really, in my view, it works. It works successfully, but it only works well because we are fairly proactive with it. But a lot depends. I mean, what's been interesting is in the 14 years, I've been VP PR occasionally. I've always taken an active interest in meetups. So I actually sit there as the main admin person on the meetup. So I've always spent a bit of time on it, but it's been interesting that the most proactive VP PRs are the ones that get the most people coming along to our meetings, because they've, you know, what they've done is they've followed up on anybody that's joined the meetup. They've followed up to anybody that's inquired, that's come on recently, and they follow up on people that RSVP and follow and, you know, invite them along to the meeting. Looking forward to seeing you. This is what we're all about. You know, the more proactive we are, the better response we get. So I'm sold on it. The other thing as well is that one meetup subscription, three clubs can operate off it. But I've learned something else with the new club, the online club. I've piggybacked off an existing club. So I've actually got 4 clubs operating off that meetup at the moment. You know, providing we're meeting on a different date and providing the club has got a different name, you could, you know, and there's the other club doesn't mind us using it, then we can piggyback off that as well. The typical price is we charge each of our clubs that are the 3 clubs that are using, we charge them £25 a half year. And the half year cost is about £82 with Meetup. We charge each of the 3 clubs 25, and we've had an agreement with the area director for the last 4 or 5 years that they will pay any balance, but it's only a small amount. So there you are. You can see that I'm sold on it, and I don't get any commission.
That sounds like a good earner for you in terms of attracting new members to the club.
Yeah, but only as good as how well we use it.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, John, because I've also worked it similar for my own home club, Anglia Communicators, and I attracted a lot of people through that using exactly those tips you've just shared with us today. So thank you for sharing that. So let's open up the floor for questions. Anybody got a question for John? Oh, Elizabeth, well done.
I do. As I said, I'm really impressed by your record of success, John. I follow it on Facebook and so on, and I think you're perhaps the most successful in the district in terms of attracting members. We've been using Meetup for a long time at Hertford because we do get members in, but listening to you, I think the difference is you actively manage it. I think we've put it out there and who comes. And I think there's a complete difference in management. So my question to you is this: would you suggest that each club should perhaps have a Meetup, a different role, someone who's managing Meetup? If we're all after members and we're all wanting this dedication, do we just leave it to one of the existing roles, or are we talking about perhaps an opportunity for a new role in the club? That was my question.
Yeah, I mean, I've kept involved with it because I'm the person that pays the bill. So that sort of kept me engaged in Meetup, although, you know, I certainly involve the VPPRs in encouraging them to make as good use of it as possible. But I do, as I said, I do keep an active interest in it, because I believe that if I can encourage our VPPRs to be very proactive, then it works. If they don't, then it doesn't work as well. So, you know, I interfere. Well, I don't think I interfere, but I certainly keep a close eye on how well it's being used.
I can
And,
see.
you know, answering the question, I would have thought that would make sense, that it has one coordinator.
Thank you.
That's really helpful to know. Thank you, John. I can see Helen's got a hand up. Helen, do you have a question for John?
Yeah, I'm a member of 3 clubs and they're all on Meetup. But as someone who doesn't understand how Meetup works, like I have no idea how it was set up, how it operates. If I took the VPPR role next session, who's going to teach me how Meetup works? One of the things that I ask about a lot of things that we do in Toastmasters, there's lots of things I don't know how Facebook works. I don't know how all the things work. I can do very basic things with them. I don't even know how to tweet. So how can you encourage people to take the opportunity to use Meetup if we don't know how it works right from the basics?
Yeah.
So I just say I'm attending. That's about as much as I do on Meetup.
What we do, and I think it's the same with any social media, is that we try and ring the changes for every meeting. So we try and post something slightly different, you know, rather than it being repetitious, that every single meeting looks the same on Meetup. We try and change the picture. We try and change the content. We post the next 2 meetings for generally the next 2 or 3 meetings on there. And as soon as we launch those meetings, we almost always get 1 or 2 people will sign up to it, you know, because it will arrive in their email inbox as soon as we launch it. But I think it's like, as I say, any social media, if it's the same boring content every time, then it isn't going to have the same response. So if you can try and ring the changes, you know, so when we were in lockdown, we tried to change our sort of Zoom picture every time. Now we're meeting face to face, we can try and play around with all sorts of other things that we post. But yeah, I'd say try and get a bit of variety into what you write up and what you put on.
Helen, I just had a thought. You use Facebook, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
So when people become your friend on Facebook, do you send them like a little message to say, oh, thanks for becoming my friend?
Not particularly, no. Maybe that's something I should be doing, and saying, look at some of the...
So yeah, because it works in a similar way. We want to be sociable. That's the key thing. We need to be sociable. So we need to say, oh, hi, I'm Helen. I'm here just to say hello to you. You've just joined our group. Thank you for joining our group. Really good to see you here. Oh, by the way, perhaps you're interested in learning more about public speaking as you've joined a speaking group. Would you like to come to our meeting next week? ? So you kind of open up a little bit of dialogue with them, but you can keep it brief, keep it short. And then if they can't come to the next meeting, oh, sorry, you can't come, maybe it would suit you better in 2 weeks' time. And you can build up that rapport with them. And then once they come to the meeting, they know you because you've reached out and said hello to them, and that makes them feel a little bit warm. And they feel more comfortable when they come to the room because they know you a little bit.
I think it's the same with anything. I mean, I've got a business background, and therefore any potential prospect I've made sure I followed up on, wherever it's come from. You know, and therefore I applied the same principle to Toastmasters. You know, if I can find somebody that may just be interested in us, then I'll follow up with them and try and encourage them to get them to a meeting. You know, whether that comes in Facebook or LinkedIn or Meetup.
I think what I was saying, Sue, was that because I don't understand how it all works, the person that I've set it up, so I don't know the functionality. I like going back and speaking to people and saying, "Oh, John, I've seen you've just joined Meetup for whatever speakers," and I'm in the 3 groups. So if nobody's going to tell me that I can speak to John, then I'm sitting here going, I've just ticked to say I'm coming to the next meeting. And that's what I'm needing to know about the interactions that you can do.
I think Helen, you've raised a really good point, and I
Yeah.
think what you're saying is you need some training on meetups. So I think Sue, that's an opportunity for us in the Growth Academy
Yeah.
to get some basic training on meetups. Because what John's showing us the application of it, but
Yeah.
Helen is saying we want the basics of it.
Yeah.
So I think Helen, we've made a note of that.
No,
And
that's-
John, is it possible to go to your site and have a look at what you're doing? Because I think we just have we just have a meetup group, but we've got enough. We haven't customized it in any way. It's just there. Are you putting posters on yours? What does yours look like?
Well, what I could do is, can I take you to the site now?
Of course, let me make you co-host. That would be helpful, I think, if you can see.
So,
And Helen, I'll make note of your question. I made of your requirement.
yeah, let me try and hunt it out then.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, John. Welcome, John. Also.
Okay. Let me go back to Zoom then and share screen. Okay, can you see that then?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is the East Midlands one. You'll see here 1,296 members. Yeah.
Mhm.
Things that you can do with it is, if I go into members, yeah, it will bring up our members, and then you can search those members. So I can search by last visited, which is what it is now. So these are the people that have visited recently. They've visited this week. So I could follow up on any one of those. And if you click on here, I can send them a message. Yeah, I can have a conversation with them. So anybody that's sort of gone on and come on and had a look this week, then I can follow up with them. If I go back to this members, if I can search the members again, I can actually contact them all. So all 1,296, I can send an email to. Here we go. So if we've got a special event on, like a guest night, I can email all 1,296. Now, whether they'll all pick it up, I don't know. But, you know, every time we do that, we will probably get, I mean, at our last guest night, we had 16, 17, 18 people, and 10 of them joined. And, you know, and all we did is used everything that we had available to us.
So the photograph you have on that, how often would you change that? Would you change it regularly?
We
How often
probably change it as soon as we got something different to put up. We would put up. I mean, this was our Christmas event.
At Christmas, yeah.
So we shoved that up, and you know that was quite useful. But if you look at, I'll pick up one. This is the event that we're piggybacking off it, which is the No Excuses Online Toastmasters Club. So this is the one. You know, this is the last when we launched the meeting. This is the picture that we picked up from that. Now that was only 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Mm.
So we try and ring the changes, but we certainly try and change the wording in here, the details. We'll try and put something different in there, maybe once a month if we can. You can also add photos in, so you can add photos, change the photos. There's a lot of things you can do with the site, but it's what I said before, the more you change it, the more you keep refreshing it, the better response you're going to get.
Yeah.
This would tell, if I go back a little bit, you can see who's RSVP'd for our next meeting. I think I can do it on here. Yeah, you see I've got 3 people already. Poonam's already one of our members, but Adil, Ashraf and Samuel, they're new to me. And I'll certainly follow up with those and say, looking forward to seeing you. Here's what we're all about. Yeah. Do you have any questions? People will automatically get the link to the Zoom if they RSVP to the meeting. If they say they're going to come to the meeting, they will get the link.
All right.
Fantastic. I can see David's hand's gone up. So David, do you have a question?
Yeah, hi, thank you very much. I mean, with Meetup, obviously, people, when they're first looking for something in Meetup, put in search terms. So what are the things that you've got on your Meetup, like what tags they come under and what's the description?
Yeah.
Many people, because that's got to be the first successful port of call to attract that many people.
Yeah, I think I can show you that. If I go into edit the event, you'll see the tags at the bottom here. Look, communication skills, personal development, leadership, presentations, and public speaking.
Cool. Okay. And is that for the whole of your Meetup page, or just for that event?
Just for this event. So again, you could change this as often as you want. I think you can only have 5 or maybe 6.
Right.
But yeah, you can, as you can see here, that you can change the content of this as often as you want to do that.
Right. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
So I would tend to change on this one. I'm the VP PR in this club, so I will change the info for every meeting. And it takes me, it probably takes me, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes to update it.
That's excellent. Thank you.
But what we've got here is that we've got 2 different clubs that are using the same Meetup site on this one, but they're fortunate they meet on different dates.
Yes, but say, how do you have 2 different clubs using the same Meetup site?
I thought I'd just experiment and see whether I could do it. I mean, because it's a new club, we didn't have our own Meetup, and I thought, well, I wonder if I can actually add it to our existing club's Meetup. It's an online club as against the other ones, a face-to-face club, and they're meeting on 2 different days. Okay. So, and and I've got people now that are dual members of those 2 clubs.
Yeah, I can see. Okay.
What day does the No Excuses Toastmasters meet?
That meets on the 1st and 3rd Tuesdays of the month, and East Midlands Speakers meets on the 1st and 3rd Mondays of the month.
Excellent, thank you.
I can see Steve's hand's been up for a while, and then we'll go to Mary. So Steve, you have a question?
Hi, Steve.
Yeah, thank you, Sue, and John, thank you very much for sharing all the useful information, certainly insightful. If I may, I've got 2 questions and an observation. The first question is, have you noticed any difference in the way people respond based on whether the club is meeting in person or online? You said in the past about a third of the people who RSVP actually turn up. Is there a difference between online and in person with that, or is it too difficult to tell?
Yeah, I mean, the big difference is when we were meeting online, we were getting more and more people coming onto the Meetup as members that weren't local. So we were picking them up from Birmingham, Manchester, London, but we were still inviting them to our online meetings. Whereas now, I mean, what's quite interesting now is because we've gone back to face predominantly, most of the inquiries we're getting on Meetup are local. Now, why that is, I don't know. I mean, it just, maybe it's just people that let me look around and see what's going on locally and see if I can find somewhere to go.
Thank you. No, that makes a lot of sense. And then the
Yeah.
other question I've got from a process perspective is, do you have like standard templated messages that you send to people when they first join the group or when they've visited a meeting or anything like that?
Yeah, I copy and paste most of the time, but it depends on what they say when they come on.
Okay.
You can get people, you can actually qualify the people when they come on. We don't do that, but I know that Lincolnshire do it, and they just ask people about why are you interested in this, where are you, and they get a bit of qualification. We haven't done that, but we could. That's useful to know as well. Useful observation. Yeah. Thank you. And then the last thing, which isn't really a question, but is an observation, building on what Helen said, it sounds like there's a real opportunity here to use your expertise, John, and that of other members of the club and Lincolnshire speakers, for example, to see if we can put together some sort of basic guide that helps people with the administration and best practices. I was thinking when
Meetup.
Sorry, Steve. I was thinking when it was being spoken about, is that it wouldn't be that difficult to do screenshots of various things on Meetup and put some guidance and instructions to it.
Yeah, I agree, John, and I think you might just have volunteered yourself for something there.
Yeah, I think I probably have.
We'll follow up with you separately on that. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you, John.
That could be a nice little pathways project. So let's go to Mary for the closing question, because I think we're almost out of time.
John, thanks very much for sharing all that information with us. You mentioned that you've got 3 clubs can operate off the one Meetup subscription.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking that maybe a few of the clubs in our area could join forces and do that. How can that be done? Can you tell me, please?
Well, Bridget, it's been a long time since I took out a subscription, but I would guess that if you go on to Meetup and look and take up a subscription, then you just need 3 clubs that are prepared to share it with you. It's a pretty low cost when you've got 3 clubs doing it. As I say, it's costing each club £25 every 6 months.
Yeah, and that sounds fine, as opposed to our club footing the whole bill. So from what I should do is talk to maybe our area director and see if there's interest with other clubs. And what would do you name the group? I'm not familiar with Meetup. So
yeah, you'd name each group, each of the 3 that take part will have its own club name.
okay.
So in our case, they're using their own club names.
Okay, right. Thank you.
I think if I go back to 2014, my guess is that I took, I'd have taken a bit of a punt on saying, well, this looks good. I mean, it would have been relatively new Meetup then. And unfortunately, as we've grown clubs, we've been able to bolt those additional clubs into the subscription.
So my hands are up for a special reason. And Mary, I want to say this to you. What has now happened, the district has got a district Meetup account. So all those clubs that do not yet have a Meetup can talk to the district and get an account from the district. It is relatively new. I was only speaking to Daniel about it this morning. So hang fire for the moment, and I will get him to send out a note. So rather than you go off and do your 3 clubs to set up a Meetup, which is what my club does, we belong to a group of 3, you're now going to be able to go to the district and get a Meetup account. And that's a very new, I think it's great news for the district. So I will make a note of your name, because I know 2 people who are interested, and I will get back to you on that. I'll write to you after the meeting.
Thank you very much. That's brilliant.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for sharing that with us. That's really useful to know. And thank you so much for John Cox
Thank you.
attending tonight. Let's put a big hand together for John.
Thank you very
As
much.
it's well worthy of that round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming, and thank you for contributing to our show tonight. It's been great to have you on board, and we look forward to getting your documentation when it's available. And I will invite you all to come back to next week. I think next week we've got another Growth Academy session in the cafe on starting new clubs. So we look forward to seeing people in the room there, and do share these sessions with your other club members, because we want to get the word out and get a few more people in the room. It's lovely to have a small intimate group, but we'd like a few more people arriving. So thanks everyone for coming tonight. It's been a pleasure to have you here and to be sharing this cafe session with you. And thanks again to John and Elizabeth for their contributions, and thank you all. So
Bye-bye.
have a good evening. Enjoy. Bye.
Take care. Bye.